Hey you guys, it's me, Professor Vitt. We're gonna go through the syllabus here. You're gonna see me jump in a little screen in a second, but I want you to get the full effect of the quote and the our little picture. Okay, this is our syllabus for the class. This sets out the rules that we have. It tells you about what your grades are, what the policies are, what I expect of you, and how you can get an A, and probably most importantly, the best way to learn something. Upper left hand side here we have a quote by Ludwig Wittgenstein, one of my favorite philosophers, and it says, "At the core of all well-founded belief lies belief that is unfounded." And that is really a good way to think about this class. This class is going to be challenging you to think about things you may have never thought about before, whether it's what you are and what makes you you and not somebody else, or whether it's about the nature of the universe and the stuff within it, how you can know things about the universe and the things within it, whether you have free will or whether things are determined for you, whether God exists or whether everything is planned out in advance. The list sort of goes on and on. So I think if I'm doing my job right, you'll find that you had some beliefs that were unfounded. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with them. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It's just the nature of our lives. The goal of philosophy is really to have you think about things and think about them in a different way. In that sense, everybody taking this class is pretty much starting out at the same spot. Philosophy isn't taught earlier in academic careers. Most of the time, people learn it for the first time in college. But for us, we're all going to be in it together. So never feel like if you're chatting on a discussion board that you say something that is stupid. There is nothing that's stupid. In fact, sometimes the most basic questions are the ones that are the best because they're the things that everybody overlooks. Okay, that much being said, there's our section number, our course, and spring of 2014. On the right-hand side, we have a visual representation of the quote. Now, these two things are not related in any way in the sense that they have no historical relationship, but there's a painting by Rene Magritte of a castle in the sky there, and I think it's a great representation of some of what Wittgenstein was getting at. We have these wonderful beliefs, these castles that we have, and yet we fail to realize much of the time that they are unfounded, and that they don't necessarily have a basis. They're sort of suspended in air. What holds them up, right? Okay, class time. There's no set class time. This is taking place on the internet. There's my email, robert.vitt@chaffey.edu. I want to encourage you all, please, to contact me if you have any questions or concerns. I'm here for you guys. I know sometimes in an online class that can be difficult. Please feel free to email me if you have a question or concern. If I can't get back to you the same day, I will make every effort to get back to you shortly. And if for some reason you don't hear back from me, I can't imagine why, but if you don't, email me again. You're not going to upset me. It's not going to bother me. It matters to me that you get your questions answered or you get feedback. Okay, and I'm going to zoom in here. You're going to see me just pop in right here. All right. No class location. This is all online. There's my phone if you need it. Final exam date. That's the last possible date that you can finish the final in this course. This class will proceed on a modular basis, but we'll get back to that in a minute. I have some information here for you guys. I have a Pinterest page where a lot of the material that we use in this class is available. So you can look under different areas that I have there if you want to. It's just a fun way to look at it. Then I have a Facebook page, and I have a Twitter account, twitter.com/Professor Vitt. So you can tweet me if you need to, you can Facebook me, you can get me on Pinterest, or you can send me an email. Any of those work fine. Maybe in a perfect world, Twitter is the easiest way to contact me, but I understand that it's also not the most confidential, and so you should feel free to use any of the others that you'd like, particularly the email. That would be just fine. All right, official course description. Topics include problems of knowledge, which is epistemology. How do we know something is knowledge versus just opinion, right? It's one thing to think something, and it's another thing to have reasons for thinking something. Usually that's the demarcation between knowledge and belief. Now, that depends, right? There are cases where you can have belief that's sort of warranted or belief that is justified in strange cases, and it doesn't necessarily constitute belief. But we'll get to that later. We will talk about the nature of reality, metaphysics. We'll talk about whether it's all a dream or whether it's all in somebody's mind or our mind, whether it's all matter, whether it's something more than matter. Issues of values, aesthetics, philosophy of art, religion. We'll talk about the existence of God from a philosophical perspective, right? We won't be taking any type of historical approach to religions, but we'll look at some of the philosophical underpinnings involved in the existence of God and some of the questions surrounding religion. And we'll also look at social and political influences on philosophy, which is really social and political philosophy. Okay, you have your course objectives there. You'll be able to articulate and critique epistemological theories of rationalism, empiricism, and epistemological synthesis. Don't worry about that yet. Outline the problem of evil and explain why it presents a problem in Western theology. Don't worry, you'll be able to do that. Students will be able to apprise an ethical dilemma and design a strategy with which to solve the dilemma. Okay, required texts. It's Manuel Velasquez. It is the 11th edition, and I've got it right here. You absolutely must get this book. It doesn't have to have this cover. I think you can get it with a waterfall, but for some reason I have a dead tree. I don't know why they picked a dead tree. The tree of knowledge, and knowledge is dead or something? Knowledge is timeless? You know? I don't know. I have no idea why they picked this cover. It's the worst I've ever seen. Academic integrity. Please don't plagiarize in this course. It'll be very obvious to me, and it'll be even easier to detect it, to prove it. There will be serious repercussions. The same goes for cheating. This course is pretty straightforward. You will be able to access your books and your notes for most of the quizzes and most of the exams, so there's really no need for you to have someone else do it for you. DPS, if you feel that you may benefit from a consultation with DPS, I urge you to just call that number there. It's really, really a great idea. They didn't have that kind of thing when I was going through school, and I have a good friend whose life might have been much different if he would have gotten that kind of help. He's a brilliant guy, by the way. Okay, Career Center grading. This is what everybody wants to know, right? Okay, here's how it's going to break down. You're going to get 30% for your online quizzes and components. So online stuff is going to consist of your discussions and your journals, things like that. Then you're going to take 2 midterms, each of which will be 15%. You will have 2 papers, each of which will be 15%. Let me see, 30, 60, and then you will have 1 final exam, which will be 10%. That looks odd to me, but that seems right. 30 plus 30 plus 30 plus 10. Yeah, that's correct. And then we will have and then late assignment policy here, really important. This course proceeds on a weekly basis, so please do not miss anything. If you don't log in for a week or so, you're going to miss points, and it's going to drastically affect your grade. This course assumes that you have access to the internet. It's an online course, entirely online. There's no way to get around that, so I encourage you to have ready internet access. Class participation. Don't worry about the attendance, but worry about logging in regularly. If you don't, you're going to have a tough time passing the class. Academic freedom. Very important here. There won't be much objectionable language in this course. There may be here or there if I pick a clip or something that has somebody cursing in it. There's one, I think, from a 3-minute philosophy series, which is otherwise pretty good, but I think he uses a bad word or two in it. You will definitely be exposed to ideas that are in conflict with your own personal beliefs. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't do that. So I just want to encourage everyone that I don't require that you believe any particular thing in order to pass this class. I just care that you have reasons for thinking the way that you do think. That's really important to me, that everyone realizes that. I don't ever want a student to feel like, oh gosh, I didn't believe in God, so he gave me a B, or oh gosh, I believed in God, so he gave me a B, right? It's not about that. It's about understanding the reasons for and against, arguments that have presented throughout the history of philosophy for or against the existence of God, right? So never feel like that. And if at any time you do feel that way, please let me know. Just drop me a line. We will certainly watch videos that have a slant. That's just part of the nature of it. Things, certainly next week we'll be doing some Eric Snowden stuff, and that's very political, and there's a definite bias there in some of those videos, but that's kind of the point. But again, it doesn't matter to me whether you're liberal or conservative or libertarian or anarchist or anything like that. I truly don't care, but I do care that you have reasoned thought as opposed to just unfounded belief. Okay, and then this is our little modular session. So today we are going to start, you're going to start with the nature philosophy, so that's 2 weeks, and then we're going to run through everything else. We'll do human nature, the mind-body problem, metaphysics, philosophy and God, sources of knowledge, truth, ethics, social political philosophy, and then the meaning of life, and then a final exam. It's a pretty straightforward course. Again, you are oops, let's not annotate the, this is just my luck, right? I'm doing all this, just doing this video, and all of a sudden everything starts going crazy. It should be a pretty straightforward course. The only and most important thing is that you log in each and every week and you do your work. Make sure you get your discussions done early. They're going to be due on Wednesdays. That's very important. Get your discussions done on Wednesday. If you have any questions, contact me by email. I am happy to answer them. I really look forward to this class. Thanks a lot, you guys.